Welcome back to the RMP, guys. I'm Zach, your host of this beautiful little podcast. And if you want to hit me up, you can always email me at zachary@therebelminded.com or check out my newsletter on Substack at therebelminded.substack.com. And we are here to question the mess, make some rebel actions, and start living life on our own terms. And I want to know, how do we live a life as our true selves? The self that will look into us at the end and ask us, did we do it all? So I've been writing a lot actually about the darkness of character and the darkness of what exists internally, externally, within the world, within our own soul, within our minds, and what those things mean. And I've come to this conclusion that there's a necessity in it, that there's a silver lining to having it exist, but not just having it exist, but knowing how to embrace it because of the chaos that it causes, or the chaos that it is. Knowing that it is the very thing that makes us resilient, the very thing that helps us understand its opposition, which is the light. And I think most importantly, knowing that there's no way to dissolve it because of the imbalance that it creates in our lives. Thinking that we can only have order, that we can only have goodness, that we can only have flawlessness is ignorant and is indescribable to human existence, right? And it probably has something to do with my own struggles, with my own internal struggles, things that I feel like I have to endure. And that's the crazy part about our own perspectives on life, is some of us have strengths and some and weaknesses that we determine we have to, for ourselves, that we have to endure. Something that is unique to us that we can't seem to get out of because it is a part of our journey, or because it is a part of whatever it is that we're trying to figure out about the world. And with my own self-reflection, and I could be totally wrong. I mean, I would love to ask people out there, especially people that I know, if this just sounds wrong. But it seems to me that I have to endure a serious suffocation of things, of my own character, of the things that I love and the things that even maybe are unhealthy for me, that I have to suffocate those things out of my life, including joy and including laughter, to create a blank slate that allows me to rebuild my character from the bottom up. Now, in one way, it sounds dangerous to do so. To be left with nothing but a blank slate means that we have no foundation to build on. But at the same time, to build from a blank slate means that potential is endless and free. And these are the types of ridiculous things that I think about. But they're also the things that I think are necessary for a philosophical mind and necessary for my own self-discovery. And the crazy part is that after you've looked deep enough into yourself, you realize that you sacrifice things no matter which direction that you go. So if this say that I were to give up all of my frugality, to give up my seriousness, to give up my discipline, and all for the sake of joy and what's the right word here? joy and chaos and wanderlust and space and time without bounds, what would that do for me? Would I fall apart dangerously? Right? But I mean, that's the opening for today. Something serious that I want you guys to think on, but maybe not too fucking hard. But this episode is going to include an interview with an amazing person that I met. Her work and our discussion was based around physical fitness and more than anything, physical nutrition and the psychological manipulations of industries that have taken advantage of who we are and the way that we think and the things that are biologically, primally things that we're attracted to, and how that plays into our decisions with food, how that plays into the unhealthy situation that a lot of America is in. And I want everyone to realize how serious of a thing this is, because when it comes to correct thinking, when it comes to thinking on your own, when it thinks, all the things we discuss on here about individuality and about self-made power and decision and uniqueness and philosophy and our thoughts and the human condition as a whole, it's important that we actually take care of our bodies well enough to be able to think correctly. You wouldn't think that our food affects our mood or our emotions or our clarity, but it does, very much so, just as much as fitness does. And we go into a lot of things that we both know are important and are maybe some things that you haven't heard of, maybe some things that you haven't had enough clarity on to understand. But a lot of it is, we talked a lot about the simplicity of good food, quote unquote greenwash labeling, the pull of addictive foods, all the marketing claims that convince us of what's good and what's not, which actually is mostly not. The difference between ultra processed and processed food and what it's like to kind of be a business to food industries that are about profit and not the person themselves. So without giving too much away, I want to introduce you to my new friend. Her name is Galit. She's a health and fitness coach, and she provides a service, and she does this 90-day health reset program, and she talks about how she can help anybody lose 10 pounds in 3 months and actually create enjoyable health habits that last. And her whole goal is to help people learn how to simplify the process through eating clean food with real ingredients and doing workouts that are effective and fun, and help you maintain the body that you want and the mental clarity that you want through a lifestyle that works for you. Again, her name is Galit, and on all of her social media, she has Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and her tags are Health by Galit, and she is here to help you change the way that you think about food and change the way that you think about yourself and the lifestyle that you live. Here is episode 136. So let me ask you this first, because I want to know with where you're at now and like where your direction is going. I know what it is. They're going to know what it is. But how did it get started? You said you left Massachusetts. When we were talking before, you said you left Massachusetts and you noticed a difference because you moved, or you moved directly for that intention of like trying to find something else? Like, how did you get to where you're at now?
Yeah. So in regards to like the health and fitness industry. Yeah. Where I'm at right now so it started when I was 18 years old. I was always skinny fat my whole life. So like in a sense where like I could eat whatever I wanted and I was skinny, yet on the inside I felt tired all the time, exhausted. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of brain fog, and just I wasn't clear with who I am and my body. We all know what it feels like when we're in cloud nine and our health is great and we're around the right friends and the environment. So I wasn't there, and I had a lot of blocks. And I also started to develop some cellulite underneath my butt, and that's really when I got insecure.
How come guys don't have that?
You guys are lucky.
Yeah, what is that
They
about?
are. And so my dad, I was like, I'm skinny. I can eat McDonald's every single day. It's fine. And he was like, you're not so skinny. Your legs are, they're getting that. I was
Your
like,
dad said that?
oh, yeah.
Did that kind of mess with you?
No, I'm glad I didn't become anorexic, or like have a food disorder, because some girls could, right? And I don't think he knew any better. But yeah, so he kind of introduced that to me and made me become aware of it. Mm. And then I tried everything, I tried looking up what's the best exercise to do, how much cardio should I do, how much leg day, what should I not have sugar, should I stay away from saturated fat, should I stay away from, certain types of foods, maybe no cheese, no meat, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. I went down that whole journey that a lot of people go through.
And so just to make sure, so did this attempt towards nutrition, was it because of your dad saying that? Was that the click?
That's what clicked with me, where I was like, I need to get rid of this fat. Just like most people that start their health and fitness journey, it wasn't the energy. I didn't really know that I was fatigued. Yeah. I didn't know that I was mentally fogged up, because most likely it was the food that I was eating and not being sedentary in the environment. But that wasn't enough of a push for me to actually get into this industry. Mm-hmm. It was the cellulite that I was like, Operation Get Rid of Cellulite. Do whatever I can. Research every single cellulite brush to brush it out and get rid of it. Uh-huh. I would wear shorts and I would push my shorts down because I was insecure.
Jesus.
Yeah.
See, that's the shitty part.
Yeah.
But the thing that you said that I think is hard, I was lucky because I started when I was 14 working out. I fell in love with it once I got into a PC class. Oh, it was because I had broken my collarbone, and so I had done a lot of sitting around, and I didn't eat well either. And I had gained a little bit of weight, so there was a pudgy Zachary at one point. And once I got into physical education, and it's not like I remember anything about nutrition from then. What I remember is the working out, and the drive and the attempt for doing something that was just physically strenuous for whatever reason. I was the smallest guy in the gym. I weighed 114 pounds.
Wow.
And I had gotten up to about 130. And so that was my start.
Yeah.
Was me getting into that. But I think what my point is, what I wanted to point out was that I have done it for so long that I didn't really have enough of a life span to show me where I was foggy. And show me where my body was fatigued all the time. Getting into physical movement helped a lot. And then learning nutrition and dialing that in my early 20s helped a lot. But I didn't know that before, obviously. But what about the people that are 30 now and have never done any of that, and they've been in a constant fog, and they have nothing to relate it to, and they just assume that that's, life.
Exactly.
Right? That's what I worry about.
And it's not normal, but we think it's normal. And
exactly.
It becomes part of our life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times we don't think, we're told, if you give up coffee, if you start getting more into, nutrition and fitness and move more, you'll be fine. I don't know. It's not until you go through it, whether you're as a man, right? You're a little smaller, even a woman that wants to gain weight, or, any men and women that just are trying to lose weight. That's usually the push, was for you, just to gain more muscle and gain weight, not being the smallest guy at the gym. Mm-hmm. Once you do that, everything else is a byproduct. The energy increase, the decrease in fogginess in the brain. And then it clicks and we're like, this is why people are exercise and take care of their nutrition. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's when it became more of a lifestyle. If it was just about trying to get rid of the cellulite, then what happens after I get rid of it, right? There's nothing else pushing me. Mm-hmm. And so when I remember all of the other benefits, increased mobility, being able to do all these activities like hiking and paddleboarding and calisthenics. I just had a calisthenic class today, and move my body in so many great ways and have energy throughout the day. And the clarity, creativity, it reminds me, this is why you got to keep going. Mm-hmm.
So let's continue your journey here a little bit then. So at 18, you kind of had that, oh God, cellulite, it's the most horrible thing in the world.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you kind of had an intrigue for the nutrition part of it.
So where do you go from there once you start this path?
Yeah. So really, like, after being very extreme with working out 5 to 6 days a week, even when my family, like, we were on vacation, I was like, where's the hotel gym? Where is, like, where are the weights? Is there anything I can do to work out? I would get my steps in. I was like, there were no days off for 6 straight years, super consistent. Same thing with dieting, right before, if like we're going to go out to a restaurant, I research the restaurant. I look at their calories, their carbs, fats, and all of that. It became obsessive, and it almost takes you away from life, where like every time you're looking at food, you have to like calculate it in your head. What are the macros? And yeah, it's important to be aware, but there's an extreme for everything. And so when it started to balance out a little bit was when I had my first road trip. So I came from Massachusetts to Austin, and it was 6 days driving. I packed this huge lunchbox. My mom made me this like fresh guacamole spread, and then a spinach dip, and I had my tuna in there and vegetables. Did it last me 6 days? No, The food was ultimately going to go bad. And I was the biggest concern I had was, oh my God, we have 6 days. This is it's in 6 years. It's not like I went more than 3 days without working out or eating clean ever. So
you're freaking out.
I'm freaking out that I'm going to gain all the cellulite back. I'm going to gain all the fat back, everything. And so, in the beginning, I did the best I could. I got salads, I got salmon. I tried only going out like once for like a day. So that way I'm not eating as much restaurant food with like extra salt, sugars, oils.
And this is on the trip down.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then towards the middle end of the trip, I caved for the first time in 6 years. I had Raising Cane's, which is amazing.
No idea what that is.
It's a fast food place in Austin. It's great. It's like chicken and fries and really bad food, but it was good for me. It was good for my mental health. I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
I had, I'm going to mispronounce it, beignets from Louisiana.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's...
The donuts. Yeah, so, I was told that's where you eat there, and I was like, oh, this is really good. So anyways, to make a long story short, at the end of my trip, I noticed that my arms were slimmer. I noticed that I lost some weight. I was walking everywhere, and I was like, wait, maybe there's a balance. Like, here I was in my head thinking I'm going to gain it all back, and I have to be perfect all the time. And then when I was not perfect, I was like, I actually got more results by doing less. Now, maybe that was cortisol, right? I think sometimes when we're trying every single diet and we're trying to work out consistently and make sure our hydration is on point in our steps, that increases cortisol levels, increased stress. Increased cortisol levels will actually create like the blood sugar levels spike up, and we retain more fat, and more sugar gets converted into those fat cells, and we gain weight. So maybe that vacation is exactly what I needed to realize, when I'm less stressed and I'm allowed to go out and enjoy my life and enjoy these foods, but not overdo it, I get results.
Yeah. So you get through your 6 days with not all of your... so you consume everything that you have, right? By the time you get here.
I didn't overdo it, right? Like, I'm not saying just go eat fast food every single day.
No. I was talking about like the hack that your mom set you down here.
I consumed that in like 2 days. So I'm like, damn it. Now I got to go out to eat.
Okay. And then so you get here, and then what do you do?
Well, and then I just researched it more, and I was like, this has to be more simple. How come it is that I lost a lot of weight eating unhealthier foods? I was like, okay, so this is where the holistic approach comes in. I realized, I think it was my cortisol levels were like really high, trying to be perfect and everything. So I had more of a balanced routine there, and I started meditating more and doing breath work. And then I thought about food like this. What are people doing in other countries? Japan, Spain, all these countries that are pretty healthy and live to be long and have quality lives. They're just eating real food and moving more. You don't see that, like, the gym industry is not huge there. Do you think Japanese people are like lifting weights like this? And
there's a few
very little, yes,
elite bodybuilders that are Japanese, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They're not. And if you look at their diet, it's a lot of vegetables and sushi and rice.